Oh, damn. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. Let me scan the chat. Hopefully, everybody had a phenomenal weekend and everybody is rested and relaxed, ready to tackle the week. Um, I apologize in advance. I'm doing this a little earlier. Normally, I go at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but I got a dinner I got to go to tonight. So want to get in here and get here early. So we're only probably going to go about an hour and a half tonight, somewhere in there. With that little bit of housekeeping, let's keep it rolling. Hey, Shayna. Oh, before I get rolling too, look, Wednesday, your boy is flying out to the ATL for the meetup. Hopefully, a lot of you guys will be there. Looking forward to seeing everybody. This is one of my must go tos every year. If you don't know about the meetup, a regular gun guy who's another gun tuber has an event every year that consists of a meet and greet, a community range day, a sponsor range day, a women's conference, and an awards dinner. It's a good event. I liken it to a family reunion versus just kind of a 2A event, but it's all good in the hood. So I'll be there. Hopefully, I'll see a lot of you guys there. All right, let's roll. My sister Shannon Ewing is in the building. I know she's going to be there. So looking forward to seeing her and Jace. Thomas, salute. Tactical Skillionaire Skilly in the building. Skilly, are you going to be at the meetup? You said you were. Don't have me go looking for you. Don't have me go looking for you. Gina versus Gina in the building. Gina will be there. I know for sure she is coming out. Jay, salute. Chuck Gardner, salute. Welcome, welcome. Flossin Farmer, what's happening, fam? Tatted Cops, my guy. What's good? Big Easy in the building. Strategic Work, what's good? Good to see everybody. Who am I missing? Did I catch everybody? Team Blacksmith, what's good? My man, Team Blacksmith, is going to be there. Now, look, fam. If you guys, a lot of you guys ask me, fam, when we going to get to shoot with you? Fam, when you going to let us shoot your guns? This is an event that I come to pretty much every year, and I usually bring a few goodies with me, and I definitely let people shoot. So Team Blacksmith will also be there. So look, between me and Team Blacksmith, gonna have some nice options to put a few rounds through at the meetup. Now, Team Blacksmith sent me his list, so I know what he's bringing. Y'all know I'm gonna bring some fire. So yeah, like I said, it's gonna be a good time. Who else? The TBG in the building. The TBG, you should be flying out, man. You should be flying out. He said, I look hella lean. Bro, that's no filter. That's just what it is, bro. That's just what it is. All right, so look, fam, by way of housekeeping, number one, we are going to do a member giveaway today. I'm going to be giving away this tactical formulary map. So if you guys, I did a review on this map, and I know my main man, Team Blacksmith, did a review on this map. Look, fam, all of us on here are 2A people. We're gun owners. If you're like me, you know, I don't want to make it seem like I'm some high-level gunsmith, but there's certain things we do, right? We break down our guns to clean them. We do minor installations and things like that. And so inevitably, you end up with all these small screws, all these small springs, or whatever. What I really love about that tactical formulary mat is it is magnetic. So when you put stuff on it, stuff doesn't roll off, you don't lose it. So it is a really, really helpful mat if you're somebody who works on their guns. All right, Rick G, what's up, fam? Rick G, are you going to be at the meetup? Holler at me in the comments, let me know. So we're going to be giving that away at the end. My main man, T Electric, Gun Freak Nation. Salute. So look, fam, I always like to recognize other content providers. If you guys are not subscribed and don't watch my main man T Electric, I don't I don't know. My man has been on the scene for a while now. Was an inspiration to me when I started my channel. He has a bomb gun collection, and he does a lot of stuff that kind of relates to home defense, home protection, making sure you are staying armed. Man, check out my boy T. Plus, he does it with a certain flavor that most people don't have. I don't know what to say about more than that. But yeah, man, make sure, look, while you're here, open up another window and go subscribe to my main man T Electric's channel. Okay, Richie is gonna be in OKC for the playoffs. Okay. Well, next year, bro, you got to try to come out. It is, man, Chuck Gardner, facts. Magnetic is key, will save you hours of finding stuff. Look, yeah, I've learned that the hard way. I had to learn that the hard way. My main man, Major Havoc, is in the building. Salute, fam. Again, like I said, always try to recognize my content creators. If you are not subscribed to Major Havoc, talk about somebody who is knowledgeable, somebody who shoots, somebody who has a very, very high level understanding of the functionality of firearms, is responsible for firearms design, a mainstay in the industry. Plus, he has a crazy gun collection. Make sure you subscribe to my main man, Major Havoc's channel as well. Joe Va Q in the building. Hey, Joe Va, are you coming to the meetup? Let me know, fam. Love to see you. I don't know if you're making it down, but hopefully you are, and I will see you there. Thomas, what about you? Are you coming out to the meetup? Let me know. Let me know. So we'll be giving away that. Of course, that will also come with a 2A NLA keychain and a 2A NLA patch. So we'll be doing that towards the end of the live. Now, before I jump into our topic, I want to announce. Okay, not this year, Thomas says. Well, next year, bro, you got to try to come out. It's a vibe, for real, when I tell you. It's a vibe. Okay, so look. I told you guys I'm going to be giving away multiple firearms this year. Some are going to come from my collection. Some will be supplied by sponsors. All will be good. We're going to start off with the first of the guns that I'm going to give away. And let me go ahead, share my screen real quick. Window. All right, fam. Our first gun giveaway of the year is going to be 2A NLA's custom 50 Beowulf giveaway. Fam, first of all, 50 Beowulf is not for play. It's not for play around. But this is one of your boys' early on builds. It comes with the optic and everything you see there, custom Cerakote job, all of that. It's a blast to shoot. Literally. Literally, it's a blast to shoot. So let me break down the rules for your boys' custom 50 Beowulf giveaway. The giveaway is going to be held on our live on July the 28th. You must be present to win. I am not trying to chase down people and try to find a winner if they happen to miss. No, if you aren't there at the time of the live, we are going to redo the wheel. Okay? Now, if you are a member, if you are a member now, or essentially a member up let me make sure I say this correctly. You have until June 30th to become a member. And you must also be a member at the time of the drawing. You're automatically entered. If you're a member by June 30th and you're still a member at the time of the drawing, you automatically get an entry to win the 50 Beowulf. If you don't want to, you don't have to do anything else. Your name will be up on the wheel for a chance to win. If you become a member after June 30th or you want additional entries, that will cost you a whopping $15. So, look, fam, mainly that's to cover the cost of shipping and all of that stuff. So, that's it, fam. So, again, rules are the drawing will be July the 28th. If you're a member by June 30th and as of the time of the drawing, then you are automatically entered to win my custom 50 Beowulf, right? If you want additional entries or you become a member afterwards, or you don't want to be a member and you just want an entry, that's going to cost you $15. All right. So stay tuned. We'll be having more information on that. I'll be doing some more stuff on Instagram and some more stuff on YouTube leading up to the giveaway, and all our lives. We'll be touching on that. So yeah, fam, looking forward to giving this one away. Last year, I gave out my custom Walther PDP, and the first giveaway of this year is going to be my 50 Beowulf. And fam, make sure you're a member, because we're going to do more giveaways this year, and they're only going to get better. Right? Cool beans. Major Havoc, thank you so much for becoming a member, fam. Tactical Tina in the building. My boy Momo Shoots in the building. Momo said 2A the Vanta lover. No doubt, fam. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Did I catch everybody else? I think I did. All right, fam. Let's get into the topic of this live. As you guys know, we do a ton of gun reviews on the channel, whether it's 2011s or rifles or shotguns or SBR / brace pistols. We kind of touch on them all here, right? And I have a system in which I do the reviews, a point system. And typically speaking, that point system touches a lot of the key things that I think are important to kind of know when you're evaluating a firearm. First of which is fit and finish. Second of which is reliability. Next, durability. Next, trigger. Next, accuracy. After accuracy is ergonomics. Then maintenance and upkeep, aftermarket support, affordability, and flex. And flex is kind of the fun one, and it's worth the least amount of points. But yeah, so those are the categories that we kind of cover, right? And so I've been treating, how can I say this? I've been using the accuracy portion of that system. I've been encompassing a few things in there. And I also encompass a few things in fit and finish. So I think it would be appropriate if I kind of talk about fit and finish and then talk about accuracy the way I am defining it in both. And then we'll get into why that's important, right? For me, a lot of the quality of the firearm is held or defined within my fit and finish category. So within that, I'm looking at a lot of different things. I'm looking at the quality of the componentry that's being used. I'm looking at the coating that is being used. I'm looking at the fitment that is being used. I'm looking at kind of the overall machining and the manufacturing and how well the gun is essentially put together. That aspect of a firearm often is where the price is derived. When you look at companies, let's say on the 2011 side, when you look at companies like Atlas, companies like Venom, companies like Rafferty, companies like Hayes, and companies like Infinity, for instance, those guns are manufactured. Their fit and finish is at a very high level, meaning that the quality of the materials that they use and the components that they use are kind of the best of the best of the best. Their fitment is top notch. The amount of time that they spend machining and polishing and fitting the gun to a certain spec is very high level. And because you're using very high level componentry and you're using a lot of man hours to get that firearm to perfection, that's why you pay a premium, right? Now also we can take also look, the quality of the trigger plays into that somewhat, but not nearly as much as fit and finish, right? Ergonomics plays into that somewhat, but not nearly as much as fit and finish. Now that's fit and finish. Let's talk a little bit about accuracy, right? Because my definition of accuracy has kind of evolved. I felt like accuracy was a little too singular. If we just wanted to judge accuracy, we can, set up a gun in a stand at a set distance and with, kind of match grade ammo and give whatever the closest or tightest groups are, and we can judge accuracy that way. But I feel like that's too thin a definition. And I've many times thought about changing the word accuracy to shootability because I think shootability takes into account accuracy, but it also takes into account the overall shooting experience. And to me, that's what all those things that we talked about combined, when put together, gives you your shootability. How accurate the gun is, yes. Like the ergonomics of the gun, yes. The fit and finish of the gun, yes. The trigger, all those come into play into what your shooting experience is, right? Now, where this gets, and so that's how I've been doing it. So if you guys watch my, yes, correct, mechanical accuracy versus practical accuracy, 100%, right? Now, if you guys kind of watch my reviews, I kind of talk about this in general while I'm going through, but I had an experience the other day, and this is something that kind of subconsciously I was factoring in. My man, Grant, what's good? Grant OSO in the building. So I was kind of factoring that in. You have mechanical actually shoot. Yeah. Joe Bob said the same thing, 100%, right? So I was kind of factoring that in on a subconscious level as I was doing my reviews, and I kind of alluded to that during during a lot of the reviews. But I had an experience the other day, and it made me want to really dive into this topic a little bit more. And I do have a video coming out in a few weeks talking specifically about kind of shootability versus quality and what is more important, right? Extreme AR-15, what's good, fam? Appreciate you stopping in. So I had an experience. So I recently did a test on the Phoenix Trinity Honcho V2, the version 2. Now, what's funny about this, I was the first one to acquire that gun, first one to uh, do a review out on it. I told my man Major Havoc, I said, look, this gun is different. It's different. You have got to try it. So my man Major Havoc reached out to Covert because this is a Covert Projects Phoenix Trinity collaboration. You can only get it through them. So my man Major Havoc reached out to Covert, got one in his hands, and he also did a review. And what's ironic was he came in he walked away feeling the same way that I did. Then my man Jeff from the Weapons Collective just recently did a review on it. Now, Jeff also did the same thing. He went out and took the Honcho V2 and ran it side by side with the Atlas Erebus. So what happened for me is I ran the Honcho V2 and I was like, this gun is crazy. This is arguably the softest shooting gun that maybe I've ever shot. Crazy soft, zero recoil impulse, fast as all get out, good trigger. And I was like, man, David Garcia, let me tell you, fam, that is not true. Hold up. Let me put up David Garcia. That is not true, my man. From a quality standpoint, it's definitely not true. And I have the Sand Viper and the Pit Viper. So don't think there's any hate here. I love the Sand Viper, love the Pit Viper. But from a quality standpoint, from a fit and finish standpoint, there are many, many manufacturers that make a better quality gun. From a speed, softness perspective, the Sand Viper is up there. But bro, there's other guns that are better. And that leads me to what I'm kind of talking about here. So when I took out the Honcho for the first time, it was crazy. Crazy. Well, I'm not sure which version you're talking about, but I've upgraded the grip module on my Sand Viper, and I've shot every Sand Viper that Covert has got into their shop. So, yeah, it's different, fam. I don't know what other guns you have in your collection, but if you don't have like a Venom quad port, if you don't have a Rafferty, if you don't have a Hayes, if you don't have an Infinity, if you don't have an Atlas Erebus, these guns are different, bro. They're different. I love my Sand Viper. Love Sand Viper, love Terran Tactical guns. I'm telling you, different. But I don't want to get sidetracked. So look, I've got the Honcho V2. I'm rolling. I'm rolling, and I'm. It's crazy how fast it is. Crazy how soft shooting it is. Like I couldn't believe it. So much so that I was like, this gun could be faster and softer shooting than my Atlas Erebus, and I was like, what? Nah. So then I go out and I take out my Atlas Erebus, right? And I shoot it side by side with the Honcho. And I mean, like mag here, mag there. Half a mag here, half a mag there, right? Like back to back. 2 shots here, double tap here, double tap there. Like really trying to get it down. And if you saw my video, I walked away and I told you that the Atlas Erebus is better than well, if we're talking about just aesthetics, there's not very many guns that are better looking than Sand Viper. I would definitely say that. There are not very many guns that are better than the Sand Viper. So I said in that video that the Atlas Erebus is better. everything about the Atlas Erebus is better than the Honcho. Better manufacturing, better componentry, better fitment, better coating, better manufacturing and processing. Everything about the Erebus is better, except the Honcho is more fun to shoot. It's fatter, flash. It's softer, faster, and more fun. It's lighter weight. It's a blast. It was a blast. And so that got me to thinking, fam, like the difference between quality and shootability. Sometimes, most of the time, I will say that the quality of the gun directly affects the shootability, and the two oftentimes, most times, go hand in hand. But it is not always the case. It is not always the case. For example, let me give you a for example. Let's talk about two guns that I think are really good, solid 2011s. The Masterpiece Arms DS9 Hybrid, as an example. Not the ported version or the comp version, just the standard version. And let's say the Jacob Gray Black, right? Which is not ported, right? Now you take those two guns and you compare that to, let's say, an Alpha Foxtrot Romulus, right? Those two guns, the MPA and the Jacob Gray, are better than the Romulus in every way. The quality of the parts and the componentry that are used are better. The fitment and the manufacturing is better. Everything about the trigger is better. Everything about those guns are better. Like when you pick them up in your hands compared to a Romulus, they scream. You can just tell quality when it's in your hands, right? Those guns are clearly better than the Romulus. But because the Romulus is compensated, you could have a better shooting experience. And that might lead somebody to say, well, why would I pay $3,000 for a Masterpiece Arms or a Jacob Gray Black when I can get the Romulus for $1,200 or $1,500, wherever it is, half the price essentially, right? And have a better shooting experience. Now, that gun, the Romulus, will likely not hold up like an MPA will or a Jacob Gray Black will. But just as a fun shooting gun, just as shooting experience goes, yeah, you could have a better shooting experience because of the comp on the Romulus, right? And that's kind of what happened when I shot the Honcho versus the Erebus. The Erebus was better in every way, but the dual comps on the Honcho affected the shooting experience more than the manufacturing quality, right? And so I thought like it warrants us having a discussion. And hold on, let me go back real quick and try to catch up with some of the Big Murmur. What's good, fam? Patrick G, what's good? Smokepole TV, salute. All right, let's get into. So Honcho shot it with a block wall background so viewer can see the slide. Yeah, it's flat. It's crazy. It's crazy. Thomas says, fam, that's where you confuse me. Hopefully I've unconfused you with what I said. Hold on. Thoughts on the MPA DS9? I have not seen one in person, but I hear a lot of hype around it. I have the DS9 TC. The review will be coming out on that shortly. It's a good gun. It's a good gun. Team Blacksmith thinks the linkless barrel makes the difference. So it's probably a combination of the two, Team Blacksmith, because the linkless barrel is also on the H-tack, but the H-tacks don't run like that. They're great. It doesn't run like that. But that could be it. Whatever the voodoo is that they do, the overall shooting experience of that V2 is crazy. Purple Bulldog says diminishing returns. It comes down to preference. Okay, so that gives me and I said this in the Honcho versus Erebus video. The Atlas Erebus is $8,000. The Honcho is $6,500. The Atlas Erebus has an 18-month wait. The Honcho 30 to 90 days. So look, if your primary concern is shooting experience, then I would get the Honcho. If your primary concern is shooting experience, I get a Romulus, right? Like, and you can do things to improve the Romulus. You can upgrade the grip. You can upgrade the internals. You can make it a better quality gun. It's never going to be a Masterpiece Arms. It's never going to be a Jacob Gray Black, but it can be so comparable that maybe it doesn't matter. And maybe the additional cost isn't warranted. You know, I can spend $1,400, $1,500 on a CZ Shadow 2. Great shooting gun. Or I can get a Glock 17 for $500, send it to Pedro and put maximum holage in it. Pedro at Tampa Gun Works and do maximum holage in it, port the crap out of it, and it's going to be a better shooting experience probably. Upgrade the trigger, spend a little bit of money, upgrade the trigger, be a better shooting experience, right? So I want to make the distinction between shootability, shooting experience, and quality, right? Quality, I think, again, speaks to, there is some correlation with shootability for certain, but it speaks more to how well the gun is made, right? Where shootability is just your experience, that visceral experience you have while firing the gun. I was talking to Chris at Covert, and he was talking about maybe doing a version of the Honcho with a steel grip, right? And I was like, okay, the steel grip, the additional weight may improve the gun a little bit, maybe improve the quality of the gun a little bit. But I was like, the gun is a dream to shoot. It's already lightweight and it has zero recoil. Usually you're adding that steel grip so that you have some additional weight to the gun to minimize recoil. It has no recoil already. What I love about that gun is that it's lightweight. It has no recoil. It's crazy fast. It has a good trigger. I could take that gun out to a range. Like if I took my Lucky Devil, my Rafferty Lucky Devil, let's say, for example, out to the range, and that's an all steel gun. It is crazy. Manufacturing is ridiculous. Accuracy, real accuracy, precision is the best I've ever seen, right? But if I do an 8-hour class with that Rafferty, that all steel gun over the course of a day, I'm gonna feel like I got beat down by Mike Tyson at the end of the day, holstering that heavy gun, shooting it, running with it, all of that. It's a lot. It's a lot, right? But I feel like if I took out that Honcho, after an 8-hour class, I'd walk away from the range feeling like I hadn't done a thing because, like I said, lightweight, fast, zero recoil. Let me try to catch up with the chat. I know I'm behind. Mark Cosme says, Atlas and Infinity set the blueprints for all of these 2011 makers. I mean, I think that's fair. I think, I give Staccato a shout out relative to that as well because they mainstreamed the 2011. But no doubt, Big Easy said just ran an accuracy X H1 Havoc. It's the bomb. Okay, Big Easy, are you coming to the meetup this year? Let me know. If you are, bring it. We're rubbing you the wrong way when it comes to the. I don't know why. I don't know why, Thomas. Why are we rubbing you wrong? Because you like the Romulus? I didn't say anything bad about the Romulus. Doesn't it come down to the shooter? I enjoy shooting my Athena more than my Erebus. Enjoy my Sandhawk more than my Artemis. Of course, individual preference is what it's all about at the end of the day. When I do a gun review, just know that this is, I say it at the beginning, this is just my opinion relative to this particular gun. Like I enjoy shooting my Artemis almost as much as I do my Erebus. I don't have an Athena, but I have an Apollo, which is nothing more than but a ported Athena. So I look, they're all great. They're all great. But yeah, whatever you like is what you like. What I'm kind of trying, all those guns that you're talking about here, though, we're all talking about very high quality guns, very high level manufacturing, fit and finish, etc. Kind of the best of the best of the best of the best, right? I'm kind of speaking about guns that are really, really different in terms of the quality. TBG says I'm doing Erebus versus Apollo. That's a fun thing to do. I went down that hole. I went down that rabbit hole. I've done a review comparing those two. Big Murmur, having all the weight isn't good for transitions most of the time. There's a balance. But heck, most people don't shoot that much anyway. Facts, and more facts is what I would say to that. Yeah, Major Havoc says Honcho needs a light. No reason to add an 8-ounce steel grip. I agree. That's what I told Chris. Chris is kind of a mad scientist and likes to play. So we're gonna let Chris do what Chris do. But yeah, David Garcia, Vanta 9, Athena, or Apollo. Well, if you're saying the ported Vanta 9, then I take the Vanta 9 and the Apollo over the Athena because I'd rather have a ported gun. I enjoy shooting ported guns. Now, if you're doing like limited optics or something like that and you're competing, then you probably want an Athena. But if we're just talking about shooting experience outside of competition, then I'd say the Vanta 9 or the Apollo. And between the two, I would say that they're both great. They're both phenomenal, a little bit different. I would say the Vanta 9 is a smoother feeling, a smoother shooting gun, while the Apollo tends to be a little bit more violent, but I'd say the Apollo is faster, better trigger, and faster. And I think it depends on what grip you have on the Vanta 9. If you've got the older grip, you don't have the Valentine grip, the Apollo grip is significantly better. If you have the Valentine grips, then I think they're kind of comparable. That's my take on that. Hashtag Maxima Hose, no doubt. Where does a Honcho rate in your collection? Well, I have a custom one that's coming in, but it ranked an 87 out of a possible 100 because the fit and finish, the quality of the gun is not as good as a lot of my other guns. But shootability, if you just said which gun is the funnest to shoot, I would say the Honcho at this point is probably the funnest gun in my collection to shoot. Although it is not good because you'll run through ammo like it's nobody's business with that gun. Average shooter. I like the Honcho. how it is. Easy to move from target to target. 100%. Thomas, you don't even have a Vanta 9. You don't even have a Vanta 9. How can you say it's better than the Apollo? That the Apollo is better? Or are you talking about the Erebus? But you don't have an Erebus. This is what I'm saying, Thomas. You just be throwing stuff out there. You just be throwing stuff out there. Big Easy, you not coming? Oh, damn. I wanted to shoot that gun. Next year, fam, you got to come through. Athena gonna have a nice snap and return. Fowler will be smoother more. They said what I said. I agree. Big Murmur, great minds think alike, my man. Great minds think alike. Bull shout out. Hey, I got no issues with the Bull Armory. That's another gun. Good value gun. Grand Life AJ, salute. Yes. So while I'm shouting out content creators, if you guys are not subscribed to my boy Tactical Bearded Dad, make sure you go check my boy out. He gets access to some very nice firearms. He does a good job reviewing it. And what I like even more than that, though, is now he is starting to do sit-down interviews with a lot of the gun makers. And so he had done a sit-down interview with Viking Firearms, I think a week or two ago, just did a sit-down with Don at Venom Customs a few days ago. I think it's great to get the background on where these guys come from. Some people may think that some of these guys are kind of fly by night or just popped up on the scene. And there are some people who have done this, but a lot of these guns have been in the industry for decades. And maybe you just haven't heard of them because they're smaller shops or because 2011s are coming so in vogue now. But like Don was making, before he started even really selling 2011s, he was making competition pistols for himself like 15 years ago and started selling guns over 10 years ago. And so that's why he's refined his craft so much. That's why his guns are so amazing. But yeah, check out that interview. Average shooter. Gotta love Hayes Custom. Got to. One of my faves, fam. TBG. I don't know what to tell you about that. Here's what I will say, though, that for people who live in California, covert is a blessing. Because if you had to buy, I know the TBG has bought some guns from covert. If you had to buy that gun, private party, it'd be more than double the MSRP. And so I think, they're doing us a service relative to that. Major Havoc, this, my friend, is what I deal with on a daily basis. This is what I deal with on a daily basis. When I did my 2011 tiers, for example, I said I'm in a better position than most to do the tiers because I personally own the majority of the 2011s that are out there, the 2011 manufacturers that are out. So I don't have a horse in the race. If you want to tell me that the Masterpiece Arms is better than a Hayes Customs gun, great, because I own both. I own both. If you want to tell me that Fusion XP Pro is better than an Atlas Apollo, great, because I own both. I don't care. I don't feel the need to defend my gun, right? Or the couple of guns that I own as compared to other guns. And so, yeah, Major Havoc, thank you for saying that because that's part of my daily struggle out here in these YouTube streets. Jacob Gray Black is Jacob Gray Covert Edition. It's the ports that really make much of the difference. Yeah, but to me, that's a big difference. I'd agree that the guns are very, very similar. And I have some inside baseball as to how all of that played out, but doesn't really matter at the end of the day. The black, the covert, limited edition are very, very similar gun, a little bit different aesthetic, but very, very similarly made. The major difference is the port, but to me, that's a big difference. The price for the Fowler, you can't beat it. You can't? I don't know about that. Cardinal Firearms makes a gun that's a little bit cheaper than the Fowler, and I think it's possibly better. So there's that. I think it's the same price, round, same price as an Apollo. Um, I think there's a case to be made that the Apollo is just as good, if not better. But I love the Fowler. Don't get me wrong. It's the bomb, phenomenal gun. It hit Grail gun status when I did my review with a 90. So yeah, yes sir. Is it a minor or a major load? If you're talking about the Honcho, it's the version 2, it's minor. You can use factory ammo with it. I'm not sure about the original version 1 Honcho, which is a race gun. That may be major factor, but I don't own one of those. So if Team Blacksmith is still in the chat, he can tell you whether or not the Honcho version 1 is major factor. Hold on, I just lost somebody. Not saying it's best, but certainly high quality, better build. But, oh, yo, yeah. 100%. 100% about that. Yeah, no doubt about that, buddy. It's a phenomenal gun. It is a phenomenal gun. 100%. Willie, salute. Burner Girl, salute. He said this conversation is above your pay grade. No, fam, because I think maybe some of the guns we're talking about, but even on the lower, more budget friendly spectrum, I think that quality versus shootability is a thing. Let's say, for instance, let me think of a good quality striker fired pistol. Say like the Canic steel frame or the PDP comp or something like that, right? The PDP, that's not a good example. But I guess what I'm saying is depending on how a gun is configured, you can increase shootability. You can have better shootability with less quality. And so, what we all have to decide when we're making decisions about where our hard earned money is going to go, we have to decide if they're, and that's why I always tell people if you can, sometimes you can't, but if you can, always shoot the gun before you buy it. At the very least, handle it before you buy it. Because sometimes the shooting experience does not always directly correlate with the quality of the gun. You can have a lesser cost gun and have a better shooting experience with a gun that's cheaper. That's what I was trying to get out. How does your Infinity rank with your top guns? It's up there. It's GOAT status. I have one Infinity, the Infinity Baby Monster, in my collection now. In about 2 weeks' time, I have my second Infinity, the Infinity Viscount. And before the end of the year, I'll have 3. And I also have another Venom in my collection before the end of the year. Hopefully, let me knock on some wood while I say that. But they're all phenomenal guns. I feel like the manufacturing, I don't know, they're all phenomenal. It's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. I don't, it's hard to beat Venom when it comes to that fit and finish category. Um, yeah, Rafferty too though. All those guns are crazy, crazy good. True to the game. Salute. Welcome in, fam. 100%, man. I don't know, fam. My channel would be very, very different without Covert. I'm just gonna say that, and it's not just that they let me review guns. That's part of it, but just me having access to guns that I have access to would not be possible without places like Covert. Covert being the primary go-to. Trigger, Covert is heaven sent. Facts. Facts. 100%. Bearded Dad on the come up. That's my dude, man. Had a chance to hang out with Bearded Dad at SHOT Show this past year. Cool brother. And I gotta say this too, fam. Having this platform has enabled me to interact with a lot of gun tubers in the space. And I'm not saying this about everybody, but most people that I've come into contact with, whether that's Jeff at the Weapons Collective, Team Blacksmith, Major Havoc, Bearded Dad, the 2011 Collective, Life with Obi, on and on and on, Yoki Stir, on and on, RGG, on and on and on. Most folks are great, great people. Hella nice. Really humble cats for the most part, very approachable. I try to be that way. That's how I was raised. So I appreciate it when I see it in other people. That part, yeah, Covert, you're not going to go into Covert and see no Glocks unless it's a Terran Tactical Glock or something. You're not going to see no Walther PDP. Yeah, no, it's high end. Carbon Q, my girl. What's good with you? Willie, salute, salute. By the way, everybody that I owed stuff to that won in the giveaways, I sent all that stuff out. It should all be, with you guys. So I just want to get that out there. Yeah, Major Havoc. I own most, shot 99% of what's out there, right? Right. I'm to the point now where I'm more selective in what I buy, but I'm very blessed and fortunate that even the stuff I don't buy, I typically speaking can get my hands on it one way or another. Okay. So here's what I would say about I've had a chance to shoot Voodoos. They're great. They're great guns. Let me caveat. Historically, Voodoos are great guns. If you own one already, consider yourself lucky. Ownership, though, has changed hands a couple of times. And from what I'm hearing, there is a drop off in quality on the later versions and a drop off on production time. So I'd say if you own one, then you're in the money. Hold on to that puppy. If you don't, I don't think now is the time to buy a voodoo gun. Not until their stuff gets hashed out and straightened out. If somebody thinks differently, you can talk about that in the chat. But I know a couple people who are dealers, and that's been the general consistency. My man, the Armsman. Okay, so look, fam, we always talk about supporting people in the community, right? I talked about a lot of YouTube providers. I talked about the tactical formulary map where we've got here. The Armsman makes some of the best custom holsters out there at relatively affordable prices with relatively fast turn time. I don't look, fam. I don't know. I have an issue. I have an issue. Snap at you, photography. What's good with you? I have an issue, fam. When I pay my money up front for something, I want it. I want it. Don't ask for my money until you're ready to give it to me. I got an issue when I pay for some money for something like a holster, and it's going to take you 5, 6 months to give it to me. I'm just not with that. I'm just not with that. If it's going to take 3, 4, 5, 6 months, I'm good, bro. Then take my order, and when my holster is ready to ship, then I'll ship you payment. Or you take a small deposit, and when my holster is ready to ship, then you take my payment. But this thing where you want me to pay $150 for a holster, and I gotta wait 4 or 5 months for you to give it to me, I'm not with that. So what I love about Armsman is that he has, all the different like colors and schemes and everything you want. He has holsters for all the different guns, all your different configuration, optic configurations, light configurations, and he gets them out to you quickly. Man, there's something to be said about that level of service. Now, some of those people that I'm talking about, and the reason why I didn't name any names, you know, they blown up. And maybe the more orders you get in, the harder it is for you to keep. I get that, and I sympathize with that. But then again, like I said, then don't take all my money up front. That's just my possible. So if you are, I say all that to say, if you don't have an Armsman holster, you're tripping. Next time you need a holster, go to my man, the Armsman's website, and get you a holster. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. And I told this to the Armsman, stuff is just kind of going crazy. But before the end of this year, I'm going to do a member giveaway of an Armsman holster where you go, you choose the holster and everything, and 2A NLA will pay for it. You order it direct through him. I'll get some kind of code or something. We'll work it out. But that's definitely going to be a giveaway. I don't know. I don't think it's snappy. It's a 4 1/4. So I guess snappy compared to what? Snappy compared to what? If it's snappy compared to a 4.6 or a 5 inch, of course, because it's only a 4 1/4. But as 4 1/4s go, I think it's pretty good. But I think that's up to you, my man. I think that's up to you. That's your call. Cardinal is awesome, 100%. Hopefully mine will be here in short order. Please tell me you saw the Weapons Collective 100 video. Yeah. I think you and him have the best 2011 collections, hands down. Thank you, man. My man Jeff is not for play. Here's what's crazy. And if you guys haven't subscribed to Jeff's channel, the Weapons Collective's channel, I don't know. If you're a gun fan, you're tripping. You're bugging. You're straight bugging. Here's what I would say. I think his rifle and SBR collection is even better than his 2011 collection. Honestly. I haven't talked to Jeff about that, but I'd like to hear what he thinks. I don't know if Jeff is in the chat. Sometimes he'll come through and say what's up. But the man's rifle collection is top notch. Top friggin' notch. I don't get why some buy a budget 2011 then prefer to soup it up, paying an additional $500. Why not get a better gun to begin with? I think, Tina, for $500, you're probably not going to be able to buy a better gun in most instances. Like if you got a Fusion Firearms XP Pro and you ported it, did a trigger job on it, did a recoil reduction on it, deleted the grip safety, you're probably going to end up paying about $300, $400 for everything that I just said, right? So let's say that $1,200 gun is now $1,600. Tell me the $1,600 gun you can get that's ported with a grip safety delete, that's low recoiling with a really good trigger. I think that's the difference. I think that's what it is, if I had to guess. But in some instances, Tina, I do think you're right. Sometimes it doesn't make sense because sometimes people are not putting 500 into it; they're putting 1,500 into it. And in those instances, then I think you got some other better alternatives. CZ Shadow 2 comparable to a lot of 2011s. I owned a CZ Shadow 2 and I sold it because I did not feel from a shooting experience, maybe from an accuracy perspective, yeah. But from a shooting experience perspective, it didn't compare. Well, because most of my guns are ported too. Like, I think it's fair to compare a full size CZ Shadow 2 to out of the box Staccato P, out of the box Staccato C2. Yes, I would agree with you, the TBG. I think that's a good point. Yes. I think when you start porting those guns, though, then that gap widens. I think that gap widens. Mark D in the building. If you could only choose one, do you take the Erebus or Honcho 2? Range toy and maybe some competitions. I wouldn't want to make that choice. That's why I have both. Ah, I don't know, fam. And when you guys ask me these questions, I don't take them lightly. I don't just throw out whatever. I really, really honestly try to assess. So here's what I would say. From a long-term investment perspective, meaning a gun that I want to have for the rest of my life, a gun that I can potentially pass down to family, a gun that I'm going to put thousands and thousands and thousands. Like, how much do you shoot? I think comes into play here. Are you the type of person that's going to shoot 1,000 rounds a year on your gun? Then maybe I would get the Honcho. If you're the kind of person that's going to put 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 rounds through a gun, I get the Erebus because it is built to last. Just kind of fun range shooting experience, yes, Honcho better. Quality combined with shooting experience, Erebus is what I would tell you. My man, upgrading budget 2011s is my jam, making okay guns into awesome shooters. 100% fam. And I'd say if you're interested in that, I do some of that here. I did that with my Springfield Prodigy. I did that with my XP, my Fusion XP Pro. That video will be dropping. That update will be dropping soon. I'm going to do that with the Bursa when it comes out. I'm gonna do that with a few firearms, but I don't live in that space. Major Havoc lives in that space. Bust Them Guns, BTG, lives in that space. So if you guys are looking for more content like that, again, subscribe to Major Havoc, subscribe to my boy Bust Them Guns. Let me catch up with the chat. I think I'm behind. Oh, speak of the devil. I didn't even know BTG was in the chat. So I shouted you out, fam. I didn't even know you was here. I seen y'all talking about how I shoot 5 matches a month with an Atlas Athena. It's phenomenal. Yeah, 100%. Talking about recoil, it's all about how you grip the gun, slow-mo, flat. I would agree with, so shout out to all my competition shooters. There's a lot of competition shooters, I think, who watch my channel and who are in the chat. I think I think I don't 7076 tactical. Were you? I don't think it was you that asked me the question. Somebody asked me a question earlier about whether I would choose the Apollo or the Vanta 9 or an Athena. And the first thing I said is, do you shoot competitions? Because if you shoot competitions from a limited optics perspective, the Athena would be the way to go. Because unless you have a non-ported Vanta 9, which I do make one, um, the Vanta 9 and the Apollo are ported guns, and so the Athena would be good. I'm going to start shooting limited optics, and I'm shooting my Artemis. But yeah, it's not very. There are not many guns out there that I feel for limited optics that are better than an Athena. Agreed. Dennis Dixon, what's up, fam? Dennis Dixon, are you coming to the meetup? Hopefully, you're coming through, man. I hope to see a lot of you guys out there. Trayvon, salute. Most of the people talking about not being able to afford these guns probably have 20 to 50 guns. Said, look, Extreme AR-15, 100. Look, I'm going to clown my boy Zach, that guy with guns. If you don't watch his channel, check him out. He's a regular guest host on a regular Gun Guys channel. I'm always teasing Zach because Zach refuses to pay money for like a high quality or an expensive firearm. Like if it's much over $1,000, Zach ain't doing it. And I get that. Like if you, I'm not a shamer. Like whatever you can afford, get what you can afford. Love what you can afford. 100%. That's the creed by which I live. You know, whatever is in your budget, do the best you can for your budget. Where I tell Zach he's full of it is that Zach will be like, I'm not paying $1,000. That's just too expensive. It's too rich for my blood. But then Zach will go out over the course of a year and buy like 20 $1,000 guns. I'm like, Zach, you just spent $20,000 on guns this year. You could have spent 15 and bought you one $5,000 gun to have you an Atlas or something like that in your collection. So 100%, that is really, really true. Really, really true. Mardi, are you interested in Cardinal Arms? Yeah, my Cardinal Arms is on order. It's coming. It's coming. And it's a special one. I will have arguably the first one of its kind when I get it. So stay tuned for that interview. It's coming soon. Coy, go mob. Looking forward to seeing my frat brother at the meetup in a couple of days. Hey, Coy, I'm coming in on Wednesday. I'm going to hit you up so we can link up. Shoot the game. Son's getting married the week of Arm Five, so won't be able to make it. Oh, man. I wish you were coming out, fam. You should have had him get married at Arm 5, though. That would have, 2 for 1. A little 2 for 1 kind of thing jumping off. Although I'm sure his wife, the bride, wouldn't have been happy about that. Dan Ringman. So, look, let me say this about custom works. I have been trying. Here's what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to hit up Covert on Instagram and tell Covert to start carrying custom works guns. I have been trying to get my man Chris to stock a few. Just get a few. Just get a few. But I hear great things about custom works. Chuck Gardner says, don't buy Voodoo. Custom works much better. I definitely wouldn't buy Voodoo now. Like I said, if you don't already own a Voodoo Priest, now is not the time to buy one, in my opinion. Do you have an Icarus grip? Okay, I appreciate you, man. Oh, No problem, fam. I'm just kicking facts. That's all. 706 tactical. I missed what you said. I missed what led up to that. Let me re-hit me. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm falling behind a little bit. Look at me generate some business for my man, the Armsman. Look, support my guy, man. He makes some bomb holsters. That part. That part. That part. Look, that's shootability. Shootability. That's what I'm talking about. Man, I'm trying to catch up. Lonnie Nellen, what's good, fam? Yep. Average shooter, yep. As long as you have the non-ported version. Just I like to make that distinction because people who are not really experienced in competition will be like, oh, people said the Vanta 9 is good for limited optics, and they'll go out and they'll buy the ported version and mess around and end up in open. I just want to make sure we're clear on that. Integrity Firearms, my man. Is there a light that sits flush on the 4.6 model? I think the Mod Light Mini sits flush, close to flush. Um, but I'll let other people speak to that. That part. Thank you, 706 Tactical. Next time on his live, make sure you tell him. Tell him. Our custom, I'm sure they would be TBG. If Chris called them, look, man, covert carries a lot of weight out here in these streets. these in these streets, man. Uh, they have the ability to leverage orders or whatever. If Chris likes the gun, he'll be like, "I'll take what you can make." So I don't know. I just for some reason that gun hasn't tickled his fancy. Yes. Okay. So Trevon, real quick, Legion Precision. You know, I have the Legion Precision Chirac. It's called the Chirac because they were based out of Chicago. He recently moved the company to Texas. So there was a lag. A lot of people who maybe needed warranty work or wanted to buy a new gun, he kind of shut down his shop for a little while. But he's ramping up production now, and you're going to be able to get Legion Precisions are going to be available soon. Thoughts on Iron Monkey rifle? I don't know if I would do a rifle. I have a covert Apache that's done like an Iron Monkey gun. It wasn't done specifically by Iron Monkey, but same pattern. I love it. I don't know if I would do because once you do that, you're saying you don't want to shoot it. You know what I mean? At that point, it becomes a showpiece. So if there was a rifle that I had, or maybe I would have to buy a specific rifle to be a showpiece, but I prefer a handgun, I think, over the rifle. Yes. Yes. I forgot about that one. But yes, that's another good one. Thomas, are you saying Vulcan machine works or Vulcan custom or Vulcan won't work with Cali? You mean Vulcan Machine Works, right? Not Custom Works. Got it. Got it. Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yep, that's what I was thinking. Good golly, Miss Molly. Oh, the Vulcan 11. Yep. Yeah. 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 TBG. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this: they're so backed up. Even if they were, I don't know when they're coming. Production is way, way, way behind. I finally caught up with you. Okay, look, fam, real quick, let me do this. Let me present. For those of you guys who came in late, I am giving away my custom 50 Beowulf. Comes with everything you see there, optic and everything. The giveaway is going to be on July 28th. And if you are a member by no later than June the 30th, and you will remain a member at the time of the giveaway, you are automatically entered. You don't have to do a thing, right? If you don't want to be a member, or you become a member after June 30th, or you would like other entries, then entry fee will be $15 per entry. You would send that to my Venmo, and I'll give out that information at the time. So all the more reason to become a member of the 2A NLA fam. All right. What's the worst firearm you've ever shot? Probably the first gun I ever bought, which is my Chrome Avis Industries 380. Whoo, terrible. Terrible. All right, look, fam, let's get into today's giveaway because I got to get out of here shortly. Share my screen. Wheel of names. All right, all right, all right. This again is for the Tactical Formulary gun mat. It is a magnetic gun mat. Like I said, fam, I can't speak enough about how kind of key that is if you're somebody who works on guns. I don't know, maybe I didn't know about it or whatever, but when Tactical Formulary hit me up and I started using it, man, night and day, night and day. Ah, my man Jay the Budget Gun Buyer, who won my Walther PDP last year, saying that 50 Beowulf is going to look real nice next to his Walther PDP that he won from me. Man. All right now. All right, let me shuffle real quick. Do the RGG shuffle. And let's move. Bust them guns. Congratulations, my guy. You win the I can't even speak. Tactical Formulary mat along with a 2A NLA patch and keychain. Just email me, fam, at 2A NLA spelled out TWOANLA at gmail.com, fam, and I will get that out to you. Hey, BCG, just a heads up, it may not come out until I get back from the meetup because tomorrow's going to be a crazy day for me. All right? All right, fam, look, I hope the conversation we had today, I hope you found it educational and fun and enlightening. I appreciate, as always, everybody coming through to support. Love y'all. I hope to see most of you guys at the meetup over this next week. I'm looking forward to it. Until next time, as always, take care of one another.